Hey there. Although I am involved with CADAC, the Center of ADHD Awareness Canada, the views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the participants and do not reflect those of CADAC. And now, cue the music.
This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, Andre Brisson.
Hey there, it's Andre with the Impulsive Thinker Podcast. Thanks for listening for this week's short episode. This episode is brought to you by CADAC, the Center of ADHD Awareness Canada. Monday, you heard that Warren Barry from Instinctive Solutions discussing expensive people problems. And that got me to thinking. We kind of ran into that ourselves here. And I thought I'd share to you our experience and my experience of expensive people problems. And I think it will relate to a lot of you out there. Because as any entrepreneur, it doesn't matter how many things you read, how many courses you take, read about other people's experience and mistakes. You know what? Here's a secret. We will all repeat it. Even if knowing going in for, well, we know it, but we're still going to repeat it. And for me, the trick is that we learn from it. Like I tell everyone, it says, I've yet to repeat the same hiring mistake twice. I keep finding new ones, but I never repeat the same hiring mistake twice. So what we do is if we do have an expensive people problem, unfortunately, we have to let them go. And then we look back and see what didn't work, why it didn't work. And I can always go back to the interview and know at one point, or realize, not know at the time, that I ignored my gut feel that this was not going to work. And that's one of the things I want to point out is that, we were hiring by ignoring our guts. And what usually happened was I talked myself out of it. Oh, no, that little thing that could be taken care of. That's not a big hurdle. That could be overcome. That could be trained out. But that gut nagging there is just saying, not too sure. So to me, that's rule number one. Do not ignore your gut. Your gut's there to tell you something, and you've got to figure it out what it is so you can explain to yourself why it's not a good hire or what could be a potential problem. Another issue that I ran into was I tried to hire me. This is probably your first few hiring mistakes. When you as an entrepreneur are now looking for employees, your first round is going to be you're going to try to hire yourself without even realizing it. Job description is going to be written that way. In actual fact, you're trying to find another you. And let me tell you something. If you hire another you, there's two things. One, there's going to be a personality conflict. There's going to be an capability conflict. You're both doing the same thing, but it doesn't really work. You need to hire for some things that you don't do. And the other thing is that if you're hiring another you, which means you're hiring another entrepreneur, how long are they going to stay with you? They're probably there. Like me, what I did is I worked for other people so I can gain research and experience to go and launch my own engineering company. So if you're trying to hire another you, are you actually going to stick around? Is that person going to stick around? Another one is hiring someone to do everything. We all want that one person. Oh, they can do a little bit of this. They want to do this, but they can also do this, and everything. And I'll tell you one thing. You are setting up that person up for immediate failure by doing a lot more than what they should be doing. You're hiring them for one purpose. For us, it's either a drafter for the engineering or an engineer. Or in this case, for tactical breakthroughs, I hired someone specifically to manage the project of getting this course program on the online platform. Keep them specific to one task, one job description, not doing a little bit of everything. Hiring an engineer to do drafting, to do administrative work, to do sales. It's just too much. You're spreading them thumbs too thin. And guess what? No one's out there that can do everything. The ones that can do everything are called entrepreneurs. So again, we're trying to hire another entrepreneur. That's what I realized. And here's another one. This one hurts a lot. Hiring in desperation is a dangerous one because you ignore your gut. And then what happens is when you hire in desperation, you're hiring the best of the worst. You do through a round, you get a bunch of resumes, you go through a round of interviews, and then you're looking at them. For some reason, you decide you must hire at this round. You're not going through this again. You got too much time, not enough time. There's too much work to be done. I need someone now. I'm desperate, so I'll hire you. Because in actual fact, what happens, you are the best person out of this whole bad group. many times I can look back and say, what we should have done is saying, sorry, none of you is a good fit. We got to do it again. And now our mantra is we're going to hire slow. And if it takes 3-4 rounds of interviews to get the right person, that is way more time spent. That's an investment. Hiring and firing costs you a lot of money. You got to train them. You got to get rid of them. It takes up a lot of mental space and energy, and it takes you away from what you like to do best, is be creative and build your company. And with all these here, hiring the best of the worst, hiring in desperation, ignoring your gut and talking yourself out of it, hiring another person that's you, and hiring someone who can do it all. Those are all the common mistakes I've done, and I highly recommend to not. And with that, so also in the process of the interviews, we do have some assessments that we use, and one is the Kolbe Index A, which helps identify how you're going to manage someone by how they use their cognitive instinctual strengths, how they deal with facts and information, how they deal with structure, how they deal with uncertainty, and how they deal with a tangible world. And it gives us an idea how they solve problems every time, and it's instinctual. And then that Kolbe is also, will it fit the role also? Because I don't want to hire someone that cannot deal with uncertainty. They like to manage chaos, which is a great strength to have. I don't want to put them in a cold calling sales role, because cold calling is very uncertain. They don't know what's going to happen, and they're going to get frustrated, and they're going to leave the job, and it's almost setting them up for failure. Part of the interview process, it has a lot to do with the cognitive minds, the cognitive, affective, and also how to fit your culture, is what's called the PXT tool. It's an expensive tool. It takes over an hour for the interviewee to do it, but if someone's willing to sit an hour to do this, I think they're more in tune and more likely to want to work for you. But at the same time, it really gives you the ability to cognitive reasoning, numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning, a lot of different aspects of it, and it's very actionable. What I like about these two tools, they're very actionable. You can do it and solve problems and actually be able to manage them effectively. And then once they're hired on, we get them to do the Strengths Finders 2.0, where the top 5 strengths are identified from a list of themes. And then with that, we use that to utilize those strengths and delegate to their strengths so that they're more in tune and more involved in what they want. They're more excited to do stuff and more engaged to do it. That was the word, engaged. So from all this, we actually hire for a role, and we want that person who has the strengths to do that role and not try to repeat the mistakes that I've learned over the last 15 years, or I don't know, almost 20 years now as an entrepreneur. But, hiring the best of the worst, not good, go for another round of interviews. Hiring in desperation, desperate to get it going just so I can get other stuff going. Hiring by ignoring my gut feel that something's not right and me talking myself out of it. Trying to hire another me. I have a hard time with myself. Why would I want to hire another? But that's what we actually try to do, is try to find another person that's a lot like you, because you want them to be able to do the same things you are. But in reality, no one can do it the way you are. You're unique. You do it the best way you can, and that's the way. And then hiring someone to do it all is impossible. And I hope some of these tidbits help you. I'd like to hear from you at questions@theimpulsivethinker.com. What your hiring strategies are, or what experiences you had that other people can benefit from. Thanks again for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by Andre Brisson. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.